It is almost that time. Carolina Panthers season is upon us. And I tell you what, the Donnie Anthony show, the DNA show, because that black and blue runs through our DNA, is so freaking exciting. I think it's the most excited we've been before any season. Brand new team, brand new coach, brand new quarterback, brand new philosophy. Maybe not brand new. We're bringing back that keep pounding motto. I'll tell you that. That has been lost for the past 3 years, maybe. It's coming back, baby. Frank Wright is the leader of it. And we're going to keep pounding. And that's what we're going to talk about today. First things first, the 2023 training camp preview about some of the position battles, some of the stars to see, some of the new guys to the team, including Bryce Young. It is franchise reset. Not a rebuild, a reset. How about that? You like that? And hey, more excited, man. So tell me, going into training camp, Donnie, what are some things that you're excited to see, things you're going to keep your eye out for before we get into these position battles?
First and foremost, man, it's damn good to be back.
Yeah.
Now, especially Panthers football, but also the show. It's always a pleasure. Can't wait. As you said, I couldn't say it any better, man. It's the most excited I've been in quite some time. We've been so aggressive, and we've done things the right way. It looks like we're trying to build a football team and not just a overnight sensation. So, man, there's so much to look forward to. First and foremost, I'm looking forward to just seeing people in Carolina blue out there, like just walking on the field. I mean,
Right.
and then, I look forward to the competitiveness, and I look forward to seeing the competitions and, as far as position battles go. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of dogs we have on this team. Who's going to be the first to fight? All the training camp shenanigans. Who's going to emerge as our QB1 for week one, man. There's so many things I'm looking forward to. Just in general, man, seeing the guys back out there. When you have a losing season, you typically it seems like the off season takes forever. It just seems like it takes that long, just because you want to hit the restart button. But man, I can't wait to hit this restart button and see what we got going on in Carolina. Man, I feel damn good.
Yeah, that's for sure. Lots of excitement for us, and as we said, training camp is coming upon us. So, and we want to share with you guys what the training camp schedule will be like. So you can actually go out there and see the guys practice, and some of their training camp, and even when the New York Jets come into town, or maybe it'll be at Jets. So no, I think they're coming into town. So and we'll be on Hard Knocks. As Donnie before the podcast, Donnie mentioned, hey, we're gonna be on some episodes of Hard Knocks if we're playing them. So that'd be fun to see as well. So another reason to watch Hard Knocks with the Jets who are on it this year featured. So, but here's the training camp schedule. As you see there, practice starts very soon. First practice Wednesday, July 26th at 10:15 a.m. And the rest of the schedule there for the rest of the summer, all the way up until the first thing, FanFest, Wednesday, August 2nd, 7 o'clock, Bank of America Stadium. Go there to celebrate being the Panthers. It's always, I've never been myself. Donnie, you have been to one, correct?
Yeah, the one with my cousin Destiny and Cece.
There you go.
Shout out.
Yes, sir. And, and, but I've seen every year I see that the social media, they put it out and it looks like a blast. There's fireworks and, man, lately there's been up in technology with lasers and all kind of cool stuff. And then after that, practice continues with a couple no practice days sprinkled in. And then the joint practice with the Jets come in Wednesday and Thursday of August 9th and 10th. You can go check that out as well. So very, very good stuff coming up. And that's good. I like that the NFL does that now with the joint practices with other teams because because it's not, it's everyone working out together. A lot of people think it's Jets over here practicing, Panthers over here practicing. No, it's everyone together, kind of trying to learn. Everybody's got a job to do, and there's coaches on that staff that will come and help Panthers, and vice versa. So it's good. It's good stuff. Um, and now there's a lot of battling going on. So me and Donnie want to talk about some of the position battles that are coming up here soon. All right, so first, quarterback battle. Now, we probably already go ahead and tell you, Bryce Young, it was drafted for a reason, and the talent is always spoke for itself. He's probably going to be our QB1, rightfully so. Now, behind him is Andy Dalton and Matt Corral. So you'll see those two battling out for probably the QB2 position. And does the third guy stay around, or does he get traded, or does it get cut for room? We'll see in the future. Who do you see taking this one, Donnie? If you had to put your money on it, who do you see backing up Bryce Young?
I think it's Andy Dalton just because of his veteran leadership and he's played with for so many different offensive coordinators. It's definitely a serviceable backup, and you can win games with Andy Dalton as a backup. I mean, he's definitely not a guy I wanted to try out there week one and try to hunt the playoffs with as our QB1 man. But I mean, Andy Dalton is super serviceable and he's very smart. He's made his Pro Bowls, he's made his playoff run, so he's got a lot of knowledge that can help Bryce a little bit. So I got Andy taking it. And as we spoke earlier today on the phone, man, Frank Wright loves his veteran guys, and it's
Yeah,
also a tradition typically when you have, rookie quarterback who's projected to be a starter. You always want that. You always want that veteran quarterback on the backup end of things, and helping him with the preparation and just helping him with everyday things to help him become that number one pick that we want him to be as far as success goes. So I think it's Andy Dalton.
yeah, probably so. That the veteran presence and just a experience alone would probably do that. But Panthers have said they have announced that Matt Corral will be taking the bulk of the snaps in the preseason, so he's getting a fair shot. He's getting a lot of experience out there, which he was robbed of last year with the injury right off the back. So he really hasn't had it's a second year, hasn't even had an NFL career yet or chance. So this year, hopefully, he gets it. He stays safe, and his stock will go up, whether it's with us or with someone else. Godspeed, Matt Corral. Moving on, running backs. So again, we just signed Miles Sanders. He's got experience there in the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. He will probably be our running back one. Now behind him, Raheem Blackshear and Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is going to be those two guys. Last year, Chuba Hubbard was split carries with Foreman, and this year he could also be splitting carries as well. But like I said, Miles Sanders coming in for that first spot. Could he be could he be splitting carries with one of these guys, or are they fighting for a running back two position? I'm not exactly sure, but those are the remaining guys. And then of course, and we're just not including it now, but of course there's always practice squad guys who just come out of left field and it really, really, really impresses during training camp, and then they'll be on the team. And yeah, but this is just things to look out for. So in terms of the running back battle, Donnie, who do you see taking this one between these two young men? Under
I
Deuce
see.
Staley, I may add real quick. Deuce Staley, new running backs coach, and if you've seen the blueprint on YouTube, go check it out. Panthers YouTube channel. Deuce Staley is going to have these guys not running through a wall for him, but with him, as he said on the blueprint. Very excited for the battle. Sorry to cut you off. Floor is yours.
No, no, nah, you all good, baby. Number one, I love Deuce Staley. Shout out Deuce Staley.
Yes.
He's from the Carolinas as well.
Hmm.
He's our assistant head coach, but just based off how Detroit did things, and Deuce Staley was a running back coach in Detroit. I can see us having kind of like a nice little duo. I mean, obviously Miles Sanders is going to get the bring of the carries. He's going to be catching the ball in the backfield a lot. Chuba had some moments last year. I was like, okay, well, here we go. He's starting to run the ball well, and he's starting to get a little bit more physical. The only thing that I knock on Chuba about is his ability to catch the ball out the backfield. I just think that's the biggest thing I want to see him work on. Who am I? I'm just a armchair coach, I guess you could say. But as a fan, I would like to see him work on his catching. Blackshear has such great capability in the return game, though. I would like to keep him around for depth. Um, with running backs, I mean, you got to if someone goes down, then it's by committee. So I wouldn't mind seeing three of these fellas on the depth chart. It's typically something that we do anyway. But I got Chuba taking it. and I can see him being a really good serviceable backup behind Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is definitely going to have a heavy workload in this offense. So I think a guy like Chuba, who can come in and get these tough yards, and he's got some breakaway speed too, so he can be an explosive player, but just nothing like franchise changing. But obviously a good backup piece. So I got Chuba taking it. Chuba Huber.
Shout out to Big Cat on the Panthers Uncensored YouTube channel. Keep Pounding TV. Yes, we heard him call him Chuba Huber one time, so we kind of took that, ran with
Stuck with us.
it. Right. But you talk about the depth chart and with the running backs and keeping them around, and I completely agree. Another position when we talk about the receivers, talk about that depth chart. So we put all the receivers here. I mean, we have receiver galore on this team, and we feel like you just can't go wrong with the lineup. We don't even know who's going to take number one spot. It could be Terrace Marshall Jr. I mean, he played like one near the end of the season last year, and he just has that it factor, and I can see him making plays. Adam Thielen, no need to say nothing there. What he's done in Minnesota in his career there, the veteran there. Laviska Shenault, which is Donnie's favorite Panther, uh, and man, every time he touched the ball, I think he scored. There might have been 2 or 3 times where he didn't. DJ Shark coming over from Detroit, he's was a stud there. Will be a stud here. Jonathan Mingo, who Steve Smith was very very high on, drafted him in the second round, and Shy Smith, who's been with us, and then there's other guys that's not even pictured here that could make it. So I just noticed there's 3 juniors just these 6 guys. There's Marshall Jr., Chenault Jr., Shark Jr., a lot of juniors. Uh, but this may be the most exciting battle here. I mean, just I don't. And all the different looks that they can get, especially with Chenault, he could be a Debo Samuels type guy, just like you told me off the podcast earlier. Thielen with his veteran presence, Terrence Marshall just the the sky's the limit for him. DJ Shark, Mingo, we ain't even seen him touch the field yet, and we already know he's going to be a stud. So, what do you see here? If they say Donnie from the DNA show, we want you to make this decision. We want you to tell us who's going to start this. Who would you have in your depth chart? Your top 5 receivers there. Unfortunately, as you and I have kind of discussed, there may be some cuts, and it has to be. They can't all be on the field at once. But yeah, you just can't go wrong here. But anyway, who do you see here taking it and being being the starters for us here?
No, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I mean, Adam Thielen is obviously the safest pick, but I think just seeing how TMJ, for those who don't know, if you've been on the Rock Under the Bridge, is Terrence Marshall Jr. Um, I think Terrence Marshall Jr. needs to be the number one receiver, just because, as you saw, this man had to grow on the field. He hasn't really had a chance. This man was a healthy scratch for multiple weeks under Matt Rule. He didn't get much playing time. He didn't have many receptions until Matt Rule left. So I think his emergence, and I think for us to get the best out of what we want in him, he's going to be our number one guy. I mean, he's shown capability to go get the jump ball. He's got a nice route running ability. And he was very successful in LSU, man. As an LSU fan myself, I mean, he played behind Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson was doing his thing. So he was putting up numbers, and he has full capability of doing that number one. I got very high, very very high hopes for him this season. I think he can get up to about the 700, 800 receiving yard number. His first year starting all 16, God willing, he stays healthy. So I got Laviska, or not my fault. I got TMJ at 1. I got Adam Thielen at 2, veteran presence, sure route runner, great hands, has been productive for so many years. Doesn't like he's slowing down at his age, which is really good. That veteran leadership he could teach some of these younger guys. Just got him at 2, man. I mean, that's a guy that you want a guy like, Bryce Young to be introduced to. That's going to be a sure-handed guy. The time is most likely going to be there. Adam Thielen's played with a few guys, and he's just so polished. He's had such a great career, and I hope he can cap it off here in Carolina and finish it off on a high note. And then at 3, I got DJ Chark, man. DJ Chark is a guy who always seems to light our ass up every time we play him. Chark's a good ball player, man. LSU Tiger as well. Even though he's 6'4", he's Chark isn't a overly physical guy. He's more likely to beat you with his speed. He's one of those guys that are like a unicorn, you know. I'm sure there's been some times where he's high punting the ball, but he's most likely going to beat you with his speed. And I love to see him, up the field and catching those deep passes. So DJ Chark could have a Pro Bowl type year, and he could climb up to number 2 in that depth chart. Maybe even number 1. I don't know. He's made a Pro Bowl before. I made the Pro Bowl in Jacksonville.
Right.
So he could hop up to 2 or 1. So I got him at 3. I have such high regards, and that's a very underrated signing this offseason. 4, you got Laviska Shenault. I mean, dude can do so much. I think he can do exactly what Deebo Samuel did. He's really good after the catch. That's a guy that you need for short yardage situations. Bryce Young likes to get the ball out fast. What better guy to get the ball out fast to than Laviska Shenault and let him do the hard work that he's been that he's so provenly worthy of doing. Like he's been amazing at the catch. He's my current favorite offensive player on the team. So I like Laviska a lot. And 5, I mean, Mingo. Mingo could hop up to 4, honestly. It just depends on his role. And sometimes it takes a lot of these guys a little bit of time to get up this depth chart because you want your veteran guys to go ahead and pave the way. So he put Mingo out there so low because he's shown that he can. I hate to drag this on. I'm just trying to go. I'm getting excited as I'm going. Mingo high point the ball, can outrun you, can just beat you at the line of scrimmage with his speed and his right now, just by default, I'll put him at 5. I'm just going in rank, obviously. I mean, I think this is subject to change, and I think Mingo can end up pushing up there too. That's the unique thing about this situation at receivers, that we have so many guys with so much talent, but I do think this is going to be a receiver by committee offense, and I think that's going to be so beneficial to us. I have receivers who are by committee. We don't need, one guy that can just get you 1,000. I mean, we can have the ball spread out, and these guys can have 600 yards apiece, 500 yards apiece. That's a successful season as long as it's putting dubs on the board and on the schedule. So that's my rough draft 5, just going into training camp. So
yeah, and like I say, you can't go wrong. I can see. I know Bryce Young. I think we kind of mentioned Bryce Young was in shotgun formation a lot last year, and we could be in shotgun, and he'd have Miles on his right and Chinook on his left. Meanwhile, the rest of these boys up at receiver in the front, and man, it's like I said, sky's the limit. There's going to be so many different packages and so many different looks, which is a good thing to have. So many different weapons. Defense not going to know who to match up who with what and when and where and why. And hey, these boys are going to battle it out, and we're going to have. I'm saying it now. We're going to have the best receiving core in the NFL. I wholeheartedly believe that.
I agree.
So,
I second that statement.
yeah,
Talk that
yeah. So, and Bryce Young is going to be completing a lot of passes, I will say. So, hey, and some other catchers on the team we'll talk about. The tight ends battle. So, tight end number 1 is probably going to go to Hayden Hurst. That's why we got him. And now that leaves to the boys from last year, Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble. Both had their ups and downs. Um, and talk about Ian Thompson, his run blocking a lot. Tommy Tremble, his pass catching. That's what he's there to do. So you got pluses with both, you got minuses with both. But at the end of the day, who takes that second tight end spot? Or maybe even they do number 1. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say Hayden Hurst probably gonna take that number 1 spot. Given who he is, what he's done. But between these two, who gets the higher end of the depth chart?
I think Tommy takes it. Tommy is younger than Ian, and Tommy can also run block as well. That was another kind of reason why we drafted him. He's a good extension to the run game, and I think Tommy's caught more passes, I think, within the last 2 years than Ian Thomas. So, and this is no disrespect to Ian Thomas. I'm just not an Ian Thomas guy. I just don't think that he's going to be progression of what we do. I think having him around too much longer is a regression. That's just my honest opinion. So I think, I mean, I honestly think Tommy Tremble takes this. And Tommy's even come out and said, Matt Rule and the fellas didn't teach him anything really while he was there. He really didn't know what it was like to have a good tight end experience. So you factor in a guy like Frank Wright. You got all these guys around, Thomas Brown, and you got all these guys to teach him the things. So I got Tommy because Tommy's got more potential than me.
Yeah, this new coaching staff is going to open up a new box of skill sets for a lot of guys, I believe. Um, but yeah, I could definitely see Tommy taking this for sure. Um, and also this whole offense that we just talked about, these position battles, all led by the new offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, coming from Los Angeles. He's got a lot of things up his sleeve. Him and Frank Wright have been coming up with a master plan for this upcoming season. So, but first, all these boys on the offensive side going to battle it out uh, and earn their spots and roles on this team. Then go over the offensive line. The offensive line, we pretty much know what that's going to be. There's some guys sprinkled in here and there that will step in at times, but as of now, our starters for the offensive line is pretty much set in stone even before we start. But it's good that we got some guys that are gonna battle for backup spots and in all different positions too. So now let's take a look on the other side of the ball, the defense, and what we will be looking at there. All right, so on the defensive side, a lot of battles going on there as well. So, and this is a completely different defense. I believe for the first time ever in Panthers history, there was a hybrid under Ron Rivera in his final years with us. Hybrid defense. This time, the new defensive coordinator is coming in from Denver. Is saying a 1-3-4, solid 3-4 defense is going to be very different and new to the Carolina Panthers franchise. Really, he said at the very bottom, the three gentlemen there, Shy Tuttle and Sean Williams, defensive end. Derek Brown, more of a defensive end this year in terms of this scheme. And you'll see behind them from left to right, Marquise Haynes Sr., Frankie Louvu, Shaq Thompson, and Brian Burns. Brian Burns will sometimes be with his hand in dirt, sometimes he'll stand up, but he's more of a linebacker type this year. Same thing goes with Haynes on the other side. Shaq and Frankie is going to be taking it on the inside. We'll be seeing Frankie stand up a lot more, probably in coverage a lot more. 'Cause I think last year Frankie sometimes was getting his hand in the dirt doing things, but that was a completely different defense. Of course, your starters at corner will most likely be J.C. Horn, of course, number one, Monte Jackson across the way, and behind them, backing them up, Xavier was a free safety, and this is another defensive battle, position battle. Not really even a battle for position, but they say that Jeremy Chin is such a special player that sometimes they bring him up there with the linebackers, with Brian Burns and the boys, and he'll be closer to the line, be able to make plays, certain packages, and while he's there, Von Bell be behind him. There's so many different looks. Me and Donnie couldn't really not come up, but we can't really give you a position battle because it's all brand new to even the players, not just us, but the players are still learning. Um, and so, what do you think, Donnie? What you know what's coming with a 3-4 defense? Who do you see standing out on this brand new 3-4 defense? And who do you see basically standing out for us this year?
Well, I think he's going to have a smooth transition. There's two people really. Well, there's three, but Frankie Louvu comes to my mind. He's going to have such a smooth transition because I feel like he could fit any scheme. But I don't know, man. The way Frankie played in the 4-3, he was drafted to be a 3-4, or he was coming out of college to be a 3-4. I think he's gonna be right at home in this scheme. He's such a multifaceted player, man. having him in this scheme with Brian Burns standing up. Brian Burns is another guy that's going to benefit. Brian Burns had a really good rookie year with us, and I think the only thing that held him back was that wrist or hand injury. I think he had fractured his wrist or did something his rookie year. But his first year in Carolina was that 3-4 scheme with Ron Rivera, and he had a lot of success in it. And it seemed like whenever we did do the 3-4 look under Phil Snow, Brian has some success as well. And obviously Derek Brown. I think Derek Brown's going to flourish because he flourished in the same scheme in Auburn. This is his first time getting into the natural scheme that he succeeded in and what he was drafted to play in. So there's the three guys right there off the top of my head, especially from the close to the line of scrimmage. Jeremy Chin as well. We've been talking for a while about how Jeremy Chin needs to be playing a little bit closer. He can cover, but I think Jeremy Chin is more at home, close towards that line of scrimmage and roaming around there and handling business there. So this is a nice defensive scheme. And I was telling you on the phone that there wasn't many standout All Pro guys on that defense last year for Denver under Mr. Evero. I mean, these fellas, you just do your assignment, and this 3-4 scheme will take care of you as long as you execute it, and as long as you. Of course, you got to be a great player. You can't just go out there and say, "All right, Donnie, go ahead and put your hand in the dirt and just set the edge." Number one, I can't fucking do it because I'm an NFL football player, so I don't want people thinking, "Well, I don't mean it like that." You don't need to have you don't need to have a Legion of Boom defense to run this scheme.
Right.
Have guys who can execute, and we'll be good. And that's been our history. We've never really had dozens of All-Pro players on the field at one time. Like we had guys like Colin Cole, real Panthers fans out there. Besides Anthony, Colin Cole, Wes Horton. Those guys ain't All-Pro players, but they did their fucking job and they helped our 4-3 scheme look good. So I'm excited. A lot of guys, but I tell you what, Anthony, and this is a hot take. Brian Burns is about to get a bag, and I'm happy and I love him, but I'm about to be tougher on him. That number changes 0.
Yes. Talk about it.
Hey, you went single digit. I love it. Hey, man, you back in the 3-4 where you were drafted out to be. Got to get a huge bag, a Nick Bosa bag, because Nick Bosa is about to get paid. He's about to get a Nick Bosa bag. I want to see an all-pro caliber Brian Burns. Not a Pro Bowl. I want to see an all-pro caliber Brian Burns in the scheme.
Yes.
This is going to benefit him. If Frankie Louvu could do it in two positions at, outside rushing linebacker, inside linebacker, and have a ton of interceptions or, a solid amount of interceptions, eight, I think he had like 8 sacks. I know Brian Burns can do that shit. So I need Brian Burns to eat. Brian, I love you. You my guy. Hey, you're a stud, but you got a ball in this scheme, dog. Ain't no more excuses for you, big dog. I love you, but this is the year. You want to get paid? Hey, you're the leader now. Hey, there's no more Luke August Keithley's around. Shaq Thompson ain't no fucking leader. Let's not get into that bullshit. All right. I don't mean to make this to a negative podcast, but don't give me that shit. Brian Burns gonna be a fucking leader of this defense.
Right.
You better be the top paid guy. You better be the top dog. I need you to show your ass every Sunday once a Thursday and once on a Monday.
While we're there.
While we're on that Monday, baby.
Yes, a little side note, me and Donnie, we have purchased tickets to the Monday Night Football, the first game at home of the season. The first time we see Bryce Young come out, man, we are over the freaking moon is an understatement. We just can't wait. It can't get here soon enough. Yeah, and to add to your point, man, very good point about Brian Burns. We're hard on him because we know what he can do. Just like growing up, I was hard on Donnie because I knew what he could do with sports. We'd be out there playing in the front yard, and if he dropped the pass, I'd get so pissed off because I know he can catch it. But Donnie's a hell of an athlete. So, but
so are you. So are you. I learned from this.
Maybe back then. Now, all fat and sassy. No, but to add to your point, to add to your point, man, and I know he's like, well, he just changed his number. No. Now that number, it's the first year the NFL is allowing the number 0, so it means something. The first one in the franchise for the Panthers to wear that number 0. When you walk around Charlotte and you say number one, who you think of right off the back?
Cameron Jarrell Newton,
When you say number 59, who do you think of?
Luke August Kuechly,
When you say number 89, who do you think of?
Steve Smith,
When you say number 90, one up plus one, what do you think of?
J. Pep,
There
Wilson,
you
North
go.
Carolina.
They all mean something. Zero. Better make it mean something, sir. And I better see a digit in front of it in terms of your sacks this year. So so at least 10, bare minimum. So just hard on guys like him and Derek Brown and J.C. Horn and Jeremy Chin and those guys. Dante Jackson, we're going to be tough on him this year.
We're
He
gonna talk
better.
about it.
Yep. We want him to be good. We know JC's there. For the love of Almighty God, stay healthy. But yeah, go ahead, sir. The floor is back to you. Dante Jackson, what's he need to do at that corner two spot?
Dante, I've been saying this for 3 years, bro. I love you. You know, you're my LSU guy. I was at Hooters with a few of the fellas when he got drafted. And I was trying not to yell because I just knew you were a great ball player. LSU Tiger, ball the fuck out. I knew people were going to talk shit about your size. Your rookie season, you came in, you did your thing, had a decent amount of picks, matched up against more physical, taller receivers. Now, here we are. We're injured a lot. Can't help it. Turf toe fucked up your feet. It's all right. We're back. Took the season off. But he is supposed to be the leader of the secondary, man. Ran excuses for you, big dog. Hey, you got what? Last year you got paid a $36 million contract.
Yeah.
JC Horn's been outplaying you, my man, and everybody was like, "Well, he's more talented." He is, but I mean, JC's way more talented. But when you've been given the assignment and you talk this shit, you gotta eventually back it up, man. Like,
right.
I'm tough on Dante too because I know Dante's ceiling is so high, but
Right.
we're still talking about ceilings in what, year 5? This is year 5 for him. We're talking about ceilings in year 5, bro. Like, we got to get it figured out. We got to get it figured out. We gotta stay healthy. Number one, I know it's hard. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but we got to stay healthy. I mean, you're stealing money from us, really, if you can't stay healthy. I hate to put it like that, but it is the business.
Right.
Um, we're losing our value, and we're losing our key piece. I still view him as a key piece.
Yeah.
I mean, when guys like CJ Henderson get burnt, who I was very high on, 2 years ago, it doesn't sting as bad as seeing Dante Jackson get burnt because I know what Dante's capable of doing. I've seen Dante make plays. There's been a stretch. As a matter of fact, the last game you and I went to, that man Dante was going stupid.
Yeah.
Against the Eagles when we went 2 years ago. Dante went stupid. He puts together like these great string of games, dog, but it's not even consistent. So I'm not trying to shit on everybody because I'm just saying, man, these guys that I'm talking about have been here since the Ron Rivera regime. Dante, I'm tired of talking about potential with Dante. Like, I want Dante to. He don't even have to make a Pro Bowl. I just want to see him in that, 3-4 interception. I want to see his pass breakup rate up. I want to see his quarterback completion percentage down. We don't. And if speed is your thing, you shouldn't be getting beat with guys that are speed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's got such great talent. He's got great instincts. But this is a big year for Dante, man. If Dante shits the bed this year, I'm down to cut him. I'm gonna say it. Point blank period. If Dante shits the bed again this year, I'm down to cut him. That hurts to see. But we've been talking about this for like 3 years, Anthony?
Yeah. Sure.
3 straight years. I mean, got to show up, man. This new regime needs leaders of the past, and we need them to step up. So, Dante, you got a ball, bro. I'm rooting for you. Stay healthy. Ball out. I mean, nothing more I can say, really.
Yeah. We're always tougher on the defense because the Panthers are always that the keep pounding motto came from a defensive player, a defensive coach who played and coached for us, and that's the kind. Everyone has their forte, I guess you could say, when it comes to Green Bay. You think about their offense and their five receiver sets, no matter what, between Brett and Aaron Rodgers. When you think of the Steelers, you think of their defense, and the Ravens. Good example. You don't even think about any offensive player they've ever had. You think about the defense and the craziness. When you think of the Panthers, think of their defense. And
Our
but
defense has been our DNA.
yes, there you go. Good. There you go. Good point. Um, so we believe in every single one of these guys, past the nine starters, the backups, the practice squad. We believe in you guys, and please, please go out there and keep pounding. So, and lastly, we want to talk about a couple guys that you want to keep an eye on in terms of either making the team or showing out in the preseason or potentially becoming starters. So, some guys that we want you to keep an eye on. First off, number two, quarterback, Matt Corral. I know we said Andy Dalton may take that quarterback two spot there, but Matt Corral could end up. You want to see what he has in the preseason since he's taking the bulk. There's a couple of receivers that are already kind of becoming fan favorites just through training camp. Receiver C.J. Saunders and Derek Wright, both guys have been doing good for what little mini camps so far. Eric Rose, a corner, trying to make it, trying to break it here. Uh, Two guys we drafted: safety Jamie Robinson and defensive end DJ Johnson. I want to see how these guys work out. Safety Von Bell. And the reason why I say Von Bell, even though he's a starter, you just want to see what they do with him. Because when Jeremy Chinn's not back there covering the deep side of the field and he's up close, you'll see Von Bell in. So we'll see what they do with him. And Henry Anderson last year was a guy signed and was playing well for us at the end of last season, defensive end. To see how he makes the team and what he does, whether he's got a hand in the dirt or he's standing up, probably hand in the dirt. But just some names, if you see them, keep your eye on them, see what they do. And it doesn't have to come from this list, Donnie, but if it does, it's fine. But if there's someone else, is there a couple of names you can think of that you want to see what they do in the preseason and 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 what they bring to this team?
Well, TMJ for me is a guy who I think we could see become a star in this league this year in specific. So I got TMJ is the guy who I think could be a starter. I'm a guy who is a make or break year for him. YGM, Yetur Gross Matos. Where's he going to fit in? He hasn't really found his identity in his defense and on his team yet.
Right.
Drafted in the second round and has every physical tool and ability to become a star in this league as well. He's super tall, is very strong, but just hasn't really put it in his play. So YGM is a make or break year for him. A cut candidate, I think, which a lot of people might think I'm crazy. Ian Thomas. He's been here since the Ron Rivera regime. Hasn't really found an identity either. I mean, I'm very tough on him just because. So I'm curious to see how this battle between he and Tommy Tremble goes. Because Tommy's very good, or he's got a very good ceiling ahead of him, or on top of him, if you would forgive me. Um, Dante Jackson, I just spoke on him. I'm not gonna say it again. Right? Dante Jackson is on this list for guys I need to see something. It's a make or break year. Mr. Robinson, Jamie Robinson, just want to see what his identity is. I mean, is he going to be more of a hybrid safety? That's what he was in college, but he can also play a little bit of the corner role. Has tenacity, is physical, is something that we need. Is a Frankie Louvu.
Yeah.
He's got the same kind of playing style as Frankie Louvu, relentless. He's going to get to the ball and he's going to make plays. I would like this. Watch out for him, man. He can earn a huge, not a huge, but a solid role in this defense and have a decent amount of snaps during these games, preseason and regular season. Cut candidate, Shy Smith.
Yeah.
We really called on his number last year. Really didn't see anything that blew me away. Um, just don't know, man.
A lot of
Shy has,
competition.
yeah, it's a lot of competition, and we also a lot of people forget we brought back, excuse me, Demir Bird. I mean, he's
Yes.
not an All Pro, not a Pro Bowler, but is a serviceable role player, and he's caught some passes. He got a lot, decent amount of passes for Cam in Carolina and in New England.
Right. He's got a narrow
So
ass.
he does have a narrow ass, and he got both cheeks down in the end zone. He sure did. That's why I got a narrow ass. And last but not least, and I'll shut my damn mouth, is Keith Taylor. Um,
Mm,
he got ate up a lot last year, and he really hasn't had a high snap percentage. And when last year when he played, man, he was just on the receiving end of everything bad. So
mm.
we're kind of slim over there at corner, man, and we don't. I mean, we don't really need guys to be getting beat. Corner has always been one of our biggest things we struggle with as far as our depth goes, and also our play.
Yeah.
Now I know we've had Jason Horn, but Jason Horn's been hurt a lot, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
we went through a thing of purgatory at corner after we let Josh Norman walk. So
Yep.
um, that's why I'm so tough on Dante, because Dante needs to be available and JC needs to be available. But Keith Taylor is one of the cut candidates, in my opinion. So that's my list.
And yeah, a lot, like I said, we keep saying it, but a lot of competition, which is a good thing to have. We could be, he's going to make the team because yeah, in the last 2 or 3 years, it's kind of like, I don't know who's going to make the team because, we don't really have a lot of competition. It just wasn't competitive, and you kind of already knew. It just here, like we don't know. There's so many great guys, um, and but for me, super excited to see how what Jamie Robinson does. The safety, he could be safety corner role, flies to the ball, just like you said, like Frankie Louvu type guy. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Even if you go watch the Panthers blueprint, general manager, uh, give me his name.
Fitter.
Scott, Jesus, Scott Fitter. He even said, when he called him, told me he was drafted. He said, yeah, he was pissed off that he got drafted so late. Yeah, so that's good. So which is good. Um, he's pissed off and he's got something to prove. Good thing. And just the whole receiver room, you kind of have an idea who's going to make it and that kind of stuff. But when you get later, the later you get in the depth chart, the more you're kind of curious who makes it. So I can't wait to see that battle as well. So a lot of competition. Very exciting training camp coming up, and just can't wait, man. I can't even wait for preseason. And I said, well, that don't count. So it doesn't count, but you still want to see your team together and just in uniform, in pads, hitting, competing, getting ready for when it matters. So it does matter. I can't stand when people say it doesn't matter. In terms of score, no, it don't. But in terms of camaraderie and skill set and just planning for the future, it does matter. So it's very important to watch and break down those film and stuff. So if you're a true fan, you will watch it and pull for these guys and be hard on them, even in training camp and preseason stuff. So um, can't get here quick enough, man. That's for sure. So all right, and before we go, man, what are you most looking forward to? What are you excited for?
Mostly looking forward to just getting back in Panthers football, man. It's my high for months. Panthers football is my drug for months. Excuse me, it's my drug year round. So being able to, lack of better phrases, but just it's a big part of my happiness, and bringing that happiness part, back into my life. As far as the season goes, it's always in me. But as far as the season goes, seeing the games and watching games, and that keeps me going. That this shit means a lot to me. And the thing I'm the most excited to see is whether or not we have a new QB1 in Carolina for over the next 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's the thing I'm looking the most, forward to. Um, Seeing Bryce Young in Carolina. Yeah, I can't say anymore how excited I am, man. I feel really good about this. This has been I've been anxiously waiting just because, like I said, man, when you lose, see, off season is very long because you're just thinking about, oh God, what are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? But everything's felt so beautifully, man. It's almost like a nicely written poem. What a beautiful poem it would be if we can make a nice playoff run this year.
Yes.
So
Yes. So, in translation, I think what Donnie is saying that it is in our DNA because we are the DNA show, the Donnie Anthony show, all Carolina Panthers podcasts. We're so excited to join the rest of the fans in the upcoming training camp, the preseason and the season. Join us in the future after each preseason game. We'll talk about it live and recorded, and even in the season. And you'll even see us at the Monday Night Football game this year. So, between now and then, between now and training camp, between now and preseason, between now and regular season, between now and hopefully the playoffs, we're going to do one thing. What are we going to keep doing, baby?
keep pounding.
As always, here's to the 2023 training camp. So excited. Thank you for joining us. The Diane Anthony Show, the DNA Show.